I've always worked. From the second I was 16, I wanted a part-time job. I wanted to save up and buy a car. So I went out and I got myself a job at the local McDonald's in the high street. So customer facing, actually a very practical and physical job. And I remember going and I'd filled in the forms and I went and I had my interview and spoke to the manager, and he just kind of paused and half-assed, I can't remember how he worded it, but he was essentially asking me if I thought I'd be able to do the job that I was applying for, given that it was working in kitchens, lots of equipment, very fast moving. And I actually hadn't thought about that, which seems incredible and a bit ridiculous, but that had not occurred to me, that there might be things that I actually might struggle with, because I'd always had this attitude of I might do things differently, but I'll always be able to do them. And it was quite an interesting experience because I immediately said, of course I'll be able to do it. You know, that was my immediate response. But I did go home thinking, will I? And what happens if I can't? So I did start work, and, you know, right at the beginning, that time when you're just navigating, being in a workplace, working for people, meeting new people. And in that kind of a job, you know, you're meeting the public all the time and children. And actually that's quite an exposed position to be in. And then realising that I've got to move really, really quickly, and I've got to just find different ways of doing things, whether it's working with this specialist kitchen equipment or carrying lots of drinks or not slowing everyone down. But I think that was quite formative, because just doing it, finding out, yes, there was a few scrapes and tough moments, but I did it and I was fine. And I worked there a couple of years before I started university. It just builds a little bit of, actually, that was quite hard, but I did it. And I got through that time and I enjoyed it. My reflections on what brings out the best in me and what that looks like, I realise a large part of my job and what I'm trying to do and the rest of the team are trying to do is bring out the best in a lot of people and, you know, create an environment where everybody can be their best, because we want to perform really well and we've got things we want to achieve. So that's just such an essential ingredient to it. So having had some of the challenges that I've had and the ups and downs, and then join those dots in what needs to be true to get you into that place. I do think about that a lot as a leader. I definitely talk about and share more personal aspects of me. Just, I don't really stage that. I don't go out and create, this is what I'm going to do today. But when there are little conversations and opportunities, I will absolutely drop these things into the conversation. It's the little things or the little sayings that people say sometimes where they then feel a little bit awkward. Do you want a hand with that? You know, it's, but using those opportunities, not as awkward moments, but actually using them to say, that's my in. So how do I, you know, then use a bit of humour, then tell a story, and suddenly you're really building a relationship. And one of the hardest things about being a CEO, I think, especially for me, I'm quite an informal person. I love to speak to everybody in the organisation. I am from the shop floor and I know that they're the people who know what's really going on. The worst thing to me is that there's a barrier or any kind of worry or a situation where people feel like they can't be honest and open and be themselves. That's kind of the opposite of what I want to lead for. So thinking about that, it's the informalities, telling people when you're nervous, actually, this is a biggie, isn't it? How are you feeling about it? You know, I'm putting my big girl pants on today. and we have that conversation because they can see you as a human and see all aspects of you. And my limb difference, I'm a woman in leadership. I'm from a pretty modest background. You know, we're all whole people, but bringing those in and using them to just share imperfection as well. And, you know, the ups and downs so that people know that it's expected that they'll have ups and downs.